A very good evening to all the viewers. The Mangaluru branch of SICAI. As all of you know, we have been organizing continuous webinars on various professional topics since last week, and this is our seventh webinar in a row. So today we will be having a webinar on bank audit. To be very precise, it will be LFAR for bank branch audit report and certificate by CA, which will be taken up by S. Ananda Krishna, who is a well-known speaker from Bengaluru. So I welcome you, sir. Now,
Thank you.
before
Welcome.
we start the session, we have with us the chairman of Mangaluru branch, CA SSI, who will be welcoming the guests as well as all the viewers. Over to you, sir.
Good evening, friends. It is my proud privilege to host ICAI Mangaluru's 7th consecutive webinar. We are updating ourselves with the latest developments in taxation and all other aspects. And of course, 21st March, we planned seminar on bank audit by 3 eminent speakers, CA Murali Mohan, CA Ananda Krishna, and CA Kota Srinivas. But we could not materialize the same because of the lockdown and advisory from our ICAI. Instead of now seminar, now we have been holding webinars, and in bank audit also we have 3 series of webinars. The first being conducted before yesterday, that is in computer and today we are Krishna from bank covering on testers and central editor from branch owners. And third, tomorrow's program, the theaters norms. Today we have with us eminent speaker, rich resource person in the field of bank audits, CA Ananda Krishna. CA Ananda Krishna, after seeing this CV, definitely he is a very rich resource in the field of central statutory audit. Have
looks like there is some connectivity issue with our chairman's welcome address. So let's wait for the chairman to come back.
hello.
Yes, yes, sir.
Hello. It's okay now?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Sorry to interrupt. There was some technical problem. See Anand Krishna from Bangalore. He has rich experience in bank audits, and he has rich experience in audit of State Bank of India and various nationalized banks as a central statutory auditor. And if you see his CV, his rich experience, definitely he will share with us. Today, this webinar is by Ananda Krishna. So now we are seeing various every morning and evening. So I could see Ananda Krishna, soul of Krishna in Mahabharata. So in Bhagavad Gita there are 18 chapters and 700 verses. So like that, in our bank audit webinar, there are 3 chapters and verses, as many verses as the speakers recite. Now today is the 2nd chapter of our Bhagavad Gita. It will be recited by our Ananda Krishna. So before introducing Ananda Krishna, I would like to come with the small quote. Every challenge is an opportunity, and we we should be able to change. That is saying, if change for change, we will survive.
Gautam Naik, you please continue with the welcome address till the chairman sir comes back.
Sure. Looks like there's a technical problem. So I'll go ahead with introducing the speaker so that all our viewers know his rich experience in the field of bank audits. To start with, CAS Ananda Krishna is a Bachelor of Commerce from Sri Venkateshwara University, Tirupati. He qualified as a chartered accountant in the year 1988 and has been practicing since then as a partner in Messrs. SRRK Sharma Associates, Bengaluru. His area of specialization includes auditing, both statutory as well as internal, as well as taxation. His educational qualifications are BCom, FCA, and also he is a TISA from our institute. Further, he was a statutory central auditor for State Bank of India for 3 terms and also of the Indian Overseas Bank for a term. He was a statutory bank auditor for Canara Bank, State Bank of India, Bank of Baroda, Indian Overseas Banks, ING Vaishya Bank, which is now called as Kotak Mahindra Bank. He was a concurrent auditor for Reserve Bank of India, the Bank of Baroda, Bank of India, Canara Bank, Vijaya Bank, IDBI, and SIDBI. He was a revenue auditor for branches of ING Vaishya Bank, Bank of India. He was a stock auditor for various nationalized banks, review auditor, information system auditor of Punjab National Bank, and also the statutory audit of Kolar Chikkaballapur DCC Bank under the NABARD. He has also audited a large number of PSUs. He was the statutory auditors for MRPL, the KBJNL, the BSNL in its Karnataka circle, KPCL, branches of BAIL, HAL, KIOCL, HMT Limited, KMF, BEML, and KSMCL. He was also the concurrent auditor for BEML, CPRI, CONCOR, DNPML. He was also an ex-director of a cooperative bank and has been a speaker and coordinator for various branches of the SIRC of ICAI, SICASA, and also a faculty for Ethical Standard Board of the ICAI. Now we will commence the session. Before the session is commenced, I would like to inform all the viewers that the session shall run from 4 to 6. All the viewers are requested to post your queries in the live chat section of the YouTube post 5:30, and our speaker will be taking up all your queries after 5:30 till the session ends at 6. So I request the speaker to commence the session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Gautam, and SS Naik, Chairman, ICAI Mangaluru, for your nice introduction of me. This is the actually, as SS Naik pointed out, this was scheduled on 21st March, but as our institute has stopped all our operations and all the seminars because of the COVID, so then we thought we may have to wait for another date to come out. So unfortunately, nothing has happened. So now I'm happy that Mangalore branch has come out with this webinar without missing this bank audit knowledge to be shared with Mangalore branch members. So thank you once again to the managing committee of Mangalore branch for taking initiative to conduct this webinar and fulfill the requirements of our institute and also to update the knowledge of the members. So thank you very much, sir. So my today, as SS Naik pointed out, today my topic is on bank or this long form audit report, and then special purpose reports, and then expectations of statutory central auditor from the branch auditors. So these are the 3 areas which I'll be covering today as a part of this webinar. So before I go through my PPT, I would like to say something about this long form audit report. This long form audit report has been introduced by RBI in the year 1985 because of the robust system, and also the banking sector is this robust system. So they wanted to know what is the internal effectiveness of the internal controls prevailing in the banking industry. So they felt this is the only the way they can get the good information required by the RBI to study the effectiveness of the internal controls or internal standard controls effectively or not. So then they have felt, so long form audit report is the one through which they can get this information through branch auditors. Again, in turn, that will be consolidated and taken by the RBI. So each bank, so this LFAR is done by the branch auditor. If there is no branch audit, if there are the branches are subject to concurrent audit, it will be done by the concurrent auditors of the respective branches, or by the self-attested, by the branch managers, and this will go to the consolidating auditor to the bank central office, and their central office will be consolidating all this one, and also they will consider the audited LFARs received from the branch auditors, and it will be consolidated as a whole at whole branch, whole bank level, and will be submitted to the RBI. Normally the due date for this submission of this LFAR is 30th June. But as far as the SEBI is concerned, all the banks have to declare their results by 31st May in normal course. But this year it has been extended by 1 month. So this LFAR consolidation normally will be taken by the head office or central office after this finalization of all the financials and submission to the SEBI. So, but as a part of the audit, but what the bank also expects, and also the bank management and also central statutory auditors expects from the branch auditors is, please complete this LFAR also along with your bank audit, along with other returns and all those things. So this has been introduced in 1985. Since then, it has taken up so many corrections, and then this one. The latest LFAR, which is presently we are doing, is amended in 2003. And after that, many times there was a thinking to change this. Somehow it is getting postponed, but so far now 2003, whatever is that has come, now we are doing it. That is the reason still we see, even after this updation of the banks through core banking and all those things, still we see some contents in the LFAR which are not relevant to today, but we have no option. We have to give our replies to that. So my PowerPoint presentation is on the long form audit report, and then our institute has come out with a guidance note. In that, they have mentioned what is the illustrative checklist which a branch auditor has to obtain before we start the long form audit report. That also I will share through my presentation today, and my subsequently I will take the of this special purpose reports, and what is the as a branch auditor how we have to go with these reports, and finally as a central statutory auditors what they expect from the branch auditors. So this long form audit report presentation, I have done it in such a way. My first slide will be what is the exactly question in the LFAR, and my subsequent slide will be what is the audit approach, what branch auditor has to do regarding that particular question in the LFAR. This is my disclaimer. Whatever I talk today in this webinar is my own view, and my firm is not construed as the views of my firm. Now, everywhere we are going through these webinars. So when we are on the webinars, so we can keep our mic on mute mode, unmute when required for interaction. And you can also raise your digital hands, but it all depends on the StreamYard or whatever, Zoom, or whatever we use normally. So this is the normal webinar, this one, what we have to follow these things. And the first and foremost thing of the LFAR is this assets, regarding the assets. Under the assets, the first and foremost item of the asset side is the cash, being the most sensitive item, which can be manipulated or which can be theft or whatever it is. These risks relating to this cash is more, and this is the first asset. When we go any bank, we will have this asset. So regarding this cash, what they expect through LFR is, does the branch generally carry cash balances which vary significantly from the limits fixed by the controlling authority of the bank? Whether the excess balances have been reported to the controlling authorities of the bank? And does the bank branch holds adequate insurance cover for the cash on hand and the cash in transit? Is the cash maintained effectively joint custody of two or more officials as per the instructions of the controlling authorities of the bank? Have the cash balances at the branch been checked at periodic intervals as per the procedure laid down by the controlling authorities of the bank? What is our audit approach regarding this asset of the cash? We have to verify when we go to the bank. You will find the cash on hand balance in the balance sheet. You have to ask for the what is the cash retention limit. This cash retention limit is intimated by the head office to each branch. What is they can hold at the each branch, and you can ask for the what is the retention limit. As an auditor, we have to see whether that the branch is maintaining that cash balances within that retention limit or not. In many times we see that that cash limit normally they exceed. So then we have to report if it is exceeded that retention limit. And we may also recommend, if that retention in number of cases, if the retention limit is casually it is exceeding, we can recommend for the excess retention limit for that particular branch. And also, if the branch is having a ATM attached to that particular branch, then we have to see what is the retention limit for that ATM also, whether that limits have been exceeded or not, and what is the cash fed into the systems have been reported to the higher authorities in normal frequently or not. We have to verify. This point will come only when ATM cash balance appears in your branch balance sheet. There may be some ATMs which are in the premises of the branch itself, but managed by the outside vendors. In such a case, that ATM will not come under our purview. So only in the your bank branch balance sheet, if this figure is appearing as a balance in the ATM, then we have to look into this aspect. Otherwise, you are not supposed to do this. And then third point is, we have to ask who is insuring the cash. So either it is by the branch, or it is by the head office, or it is by the RO. Normally it is by the head office, and they will be intimating the insurance details, what is the expiry date and up to what amount is the cash and other things have been insured. We should ask for that insurance copy and verify whether that insurance is within that period has not lapsed. If it is lapsed, then we have to report in our audit report. Verify adequate insurance coverage for the cash on hand and also ATMs, and also that should include the cash in transit. If it is not adequate, then you should mention in our report that cash insurance is not adequate. Verify insurance coverage in force or not. These are all the items which we have to look into this. In LFAR, we cannot object to the bank of their operations. Whatever we have to observe, we can only report. So we cannot abuse the branch manager, or we cannot abuse anybody. If there are any deviations, our duty is only to report. So no question of going for any discussion, why you have ignorance, what is that, this and all. So we can, whatever you observe, so you can just report in our long form audit report. This is a weapon to auditors to write whatever observations, because in the main audit report you cannot vomit all the things whatever you have observed. So this is an LFAR is an extended form of audit report where whatever the observations we have come, it can be expressed. And also we have to see who is the having the regarding the custody of the cash, who is in charge. Normally there will be two persons, one is the either cashier, in addition to him one more officer as the branch manager will be the custodian for this the cash. And we have to see the guidelines issued by the corporate office regarding this cash custody guidelines, whether the particular persons only handling the cash or not, and whether it is in their joint custody. We have to look into that. And regarding this cash vault and ATM machines are operated, joint custodians ensure from records whether the same has been followed or not. Verify the custody of the keys of the vault or ATM machines are with the staff as mentioned in the register. Confirm whether the duplicate keys of the cash, vault, ATM machines are deposited with other banks as per the guidelines by the corporate office. Select a prescribed procedure for physical verification of cash and also confirm the same has been adhered to. Normally, every day when they are keeping the cash inside, it will be physically verified by the branch manager, two persons, and it will be signed and kept inside the locker. So whether that has been done every time or not. And in addition to that, there will be a frequent physical verification of cash by concurrent auditors or external people from the corporate office. Sometimes the CO inspection people will come. They also maybe visit, physically verify the cash available when they come on a surprise visit, or by the frequently once in a quarter like that. Concurrent auditor also maybe has to verify physically. And statutory auditors, as when we go, we have to verify the physical cash balance on any particular day during the audit, and you have to reconcile previously what was the balance on 31st March represented in the bank balance sheet is correct or not. And in case the branch balance sheet is also having foreign currency in hand, then the same principles what we have so far looked into for the cash on hand in the domestic cash, the same for the foreign currency also we have to apply. The other thing one is normally each branch will have an account with Reserve Bank of India or nearby State Bank of India or any other bank for transacting any like cash this taxation, or because there are some branches may not be a focal point, so they may have to depend for that government transactions and other things nearby State Bank of India or some other bank. In such a case, they will be maintaining one account with the other banks. So we have to see that when there is a figure appearing on the branch balance sheet, balance with State Bank of India or balance with so and so bank, balance with Bank of India, Reserve Bank of India. Next duty what falls on us is we have to ask for the confirmation from that other bank and see that that balance tallies with our branch balance sheet. So if it is not there, then we have to ask for the reconciliation, whether they have done the reconciliation or not. There may be certain times that some entries may appear in the bank reconciliation statement. In such circumstances, we have to see what are the items coming under that reconciliations. When the reconciliation reveals there are any unadjusted entries passed by the other bank, but not accounted by our bank, then it may have the impact on the for example, the other bank might have passed some processing charges or some charges which our branch has not accounted. So it will have an effect on our profit and loss account. So then we have to ask for the that entry to be passed. But because 31st March is already gone, we cannot insist the bank to pass entry before 31st March. So we can recommend only through our MOC. This is the bank charges or other things debited by other bank. You have not accounted, please pass for the MOC. And again, here also you can go with the materiality concept. But you can bring this in LFAR if there are any reconciliation items pending. Audit approach I have mentioned. And there are sometimes we may have this figure money at call and short notice. Normally in the branches, this figure will not be there because it is a treasury operation. So what is money at call and what is short notice is? Money lent for 1 day is called money at call, and more than 1 day up to 14 days is called money at call, short notice. Collect the instructions from head office and confirm the same has been complied. Report any unauthorized deposits as well as the amount unauthorized limits. So normally this point is will not appear in the normal branches. And regarding to investments, and again this is also investments by the corporate office, it will be looked after. But in certain times, depending on the proximity of the branch near to the company where these investments have been done, so they may ask to retain certain investments in the branches itself in order to collect the dividend or income on that securities. So to have that control, they may still have some investments in the nearby branches. In such a case, if that figure is appearing, then we have to ask what are the investments, list of schedule of the investments, and verify whether that whether it is in a demat form or physical form. Nowadays, all investments are in demat only. We can ask for the latest demat statement. You can cross check whether that investments are tallying with that demat account, and then whether that securities, if they have declared any income, and whether that income has been collected by this branch, and again forwarded this income to the corporate office or not. We can verify. And some securities may not be available with the bank on particular date, but it may be appearing in that branches. What the probable situations of that is, they might have sent these certificates for transfer or for collection or what may be. In such a case, as an auditor, we should insist what is the communication, what is the evidence they have got for that securities not available, appearing in the balance sheet but not available with the branches. So if there is any variations or where you are not satisfied, you can bring back those things in our LFAR on these issues. So then normally we have to take a branch management representation letter. If there are no investments, we can add a point in our MR letter that branch does not hold any investments on the balance sheet date. And also income recognitions like dividend declared, not received. So whether that income recognition on investments have been followed or not. After that, the next major part comes on our branch balance sheet is advances. So then normally these advances review and ledger scrutiny and all will be doing for taking that whether advances have been categorized as per the IRAC norms or not. In addition to that, not only these advances we should look only in relation to IRAC norms, there are also certain other areas which we have to look into and brought through this LFAR. Those things have been divided into 5 parts. One is credit appraisal and sanction and disbursements, documentation, review, monitoring and supervision, and guarantees and letters of credit. Like these advances have this LFAR has been divided into 5 paragraphs. So in very first and foremost thing is credit appraisal, and then is sanction and disbursement. Third is documentation. and fourth is review and monitoring and supervision, and then guarantees and letters of credit. So what we have to do under all these paragraphs as a branch auditor? Credit appraisal. So when a person, any borrower approaches to the bank, so the first and foremost thing is credit appraisal. So as a part of credit appraisal, the banker might have been looked into what is the proposal received from the borrower, what is his purpose or what he is asking, whether exactly he requires that money or not, whatever he has mentioned in the proposal is correct or not. So then when we go for the audit, we can see what is the credit appraisal done by this bank when we are giving when branch has given the loan. So this credit appraisals, I think as a branch auditor, we should look into the whatever the loans sanctioned during the current year, during our period of audit, because this credit appraisal might have been looked into by our previous branch auditors. So what we, as a branch auditor of the year, we can see whatever the loans processed and sanctioned during the year, and renewals, whatever that has been, and if there is an enhancement in the credit sanctions, then we will look into this credit appraisal. So as a part of our credit appraisal, we have to examine appropriate forms as being prescribed by the CO has been used according to the nature of the loan. See, for example, a customer has come for a working capital limit. So there is a separate forms prescribed for the working capital and term loan, and then OD against the bank deposit, or like that. So the banker should use the appropriate forms while giving the loan. So he cannot use the working capital documentation for the term loan or like that. So we should see whether appropriate forms have been used by the bank or not. And preparation of the proposal for renewal and renew enhancement loans and limits. And every time when there is a enhancement of the loans, also renewal or review, so we'll be asked, the banker has to ask for the another projections for the future 3 years, sometimes 5 years, like that, whether all those things been obtained by the bank, or if they come for enhancement, what is the purpose of enhancement, whether his business is going in such a way as he is projected or not. So those things as a banker should have been looked into. If there is a lapse where the bank has not, without looking into all these things, if they have enhanced the limits or renewed the limits, then we should bring those things into as a part of our LFAR reply. Verify all legal documents obtained, executed, and filed properly in toto. So when there is a loan, when a particular person has come for a loan, like a home loan, so there are so many things involved in the home loans, like property valuation, property encumbrances, all those things. Those things should have been looked into carefully, legally, whatever to be done. Those steps should have been followed by the banker properly. If they have not done it properly, then we have to bring those anomalies in our LFAR. Sanction and disbursement. Verify any credit facility is sanctioned beyond the delegation powers. Higher authorities ratification obtained in case of deviations. If not, mention the same. So there will be delegation of power. So when you go to the branch, there will be, in the scale of the officers or the all have been given with a designations, like a senior manager, chief manager, and then senior manager, and then deputy DGM, GM, like that. So each scale or each designation is given with particular powers. So as an auditor, we can ask for the delegation of powers, at each level, what is that, and whether, see, for example, a 100 crores loan cannot be issued by a senior branch manager. That has to be done either by the DGM or depending on the bank. So it also differs from the bank to bank. Bigger size like bank, State Bank of India, the powers vested with DGM is differs from the powers vested with the DGM with other smaller banks. So we have to see the delegation of powers, whether the sanctions are within the delegation of powers or not. Sometimes, like ad hoc limits and all, my urgency of the customer, they may have to, the branch manager may take the little lenience and sanction depending on the urgency of the customer. In such a case, that should have been ratified by the person who is authorized to do that sanction. So whether that ratification has been obtained in case of the ad hoc limits or not, but regular renewals and all cannot be done by the other than the delegated person. Only sometimes the overdrawing allocation or sometimes these ad hoc limits may be given temporarily, subsequently which has to be ratified. That one thing which we have to, as an auditor, so we have to carefully look into. Report the instances where loans disbursed without complying the sanction terms. Sometimes when the sanction comes from a higher authority, they will mention in the sanction letter what are the compliances they have to do before the disbursement of a loan. Like, so for example, guarantors' signatures, or the bank might have forgotten to take the guarantors into account, or they might have forgotten to take the charge creation from the ROC, or the higher up may feel the security what is given may not be sufficient. They may insist for the additional security or additional personal guarantees of the directors, which the branch might have been forgotten while forwarding this loan application. At the time of sanction, the sanctioning authority may put all these conditions in the sanction letter. In certain such circumstances, we have to see whether all those observations or whatever the remarks made by the sanctioning authority has been complied by the branches before sanctioning the loan to the, or before dispersing to the borrowers. And then next comes to, after credit appraisal, after sanctioning, the third part is the documentation. So whether verify the documents obtained as per the list prescribed in manual or bank circulars. So for everything there is a prescribed manual for what is the procedure they have to follow. So this branch, we can ask for the what is the manual is available. If you have a doubt whether they have been complied properly or not, you can ask for the manual. Then as per the manual, whether they, and also as per the bank circulars, whether the documentation is obtained or not. In case of a So as under the documentation, as a branch auditor, verify documents obtained as per the list prescribed in the manual or the bank circulars. Any deviations to be commented by giving a details of accounts and shortcomings in respect of accounts. In case of a loans against fixed deposits, verify whether the lien on FDR receipt has been marked. Actually, this nowadays all we see FDRs in the online this one. And now after the core banking, this physical writing the lien on the back of the fixed deposits and all, not we can't see those things. So whether there is a tag system, so this tag, lien tag, should have been attached to that FDR receipt. So where it will mention this has been under the lien. So whether that tag has been attached to that FDR or not, if there is a loan is sanctioned against that FDR, and FDRs is properly discharged by all the parties. If there is in a joint names, so that FDR should have been discharged by both the parties. Signature discharging the FDR has been checked by the branch official. In case of the loans against LIC, NIC, NSC, KVP. Lien cannot be marked by the branch, so it has to be, lien has to be marked by the issuing authority. Like LIC means it is by the Life Insurance Corporation. In case of NSC, it is by the post office. In case of a KVP, this is also by post office where this has been issued. So there, at this respect to sanctioning, issuing authority, we have to get the lien marked in their records. So whether that has been done or not, we have to insist. So then review, monitoring and supervision. So it is not enough that the bank, once they give the loan, their duty is ended. So actually their duty starts once the disbursement is over. So subsequently after disbursement, so the banker has to review, monitor and supervision regularly whatever money has been given. What are the aspects under this category they have to do? Whether the loan disbursements are going to the purpose for which loan has been sanctioned. Say, for example, a loan has been given for purchasing of a plant and machinery, a term loan. So instead of the buyer taking that money for purchasing the machinery, he may use that money for construction of his personal property. So in such a case, it is a misuse of the bank's funds. So, and also what will happen because of this, so his business will not be started and he will be subsequently will be in trouble. So that is the reason the banker, while each and every disbursement, he has to see whether it is going for a particular purpose for which the loan has been sanctioned. This the banker might have been monitored by issuing the payments to the vendors directly who has supplied, and also not allowing the more and more cash in the accounts from the borrower. Like that, all those things we can see. That is the reason in the checklist given by our institute, in the checklist, they have mentioned cash drawings in the account more than 10 lakhs. So I was also wondering why this question is being asked in this list. When I come to this, to know whether more cash drawings means he's diversifying the funds. So lesser the cash drawings from the bank, then we can assure the amount has going to the particular respective purpose for which the vendors correctly. And also the bank has to obtain AODs. AODs means acknowledgement of debt. So when the there is a limit as per the Limitation Act. So when you want to show to the customer, it should have been acknowledged. AOD should be available, and from that your limitation starts from the AOD date. So that is why banker should not forget to take these AODs when there is a border cases of the renewal and receivable. And also collect the accounts where overdue and beyond 6 months and 1 year and over 1 year. As a part of our LFAR this one information, we have to give these figures between 6 months and 1 year, over 1 year. This has got a, again, see, wherever the loan not renewed for more than 6 months, the account become irregular. So then it will be automatically becomes an NPA. So here when you are giving an information under this class, one has to be very careful. All these cases, whether already has been become an NPA or not. So giving the figure here, this renewal has not been done for more than 6 months and not making that account as an NPA, again it will be a professional negligence on our part. So you should be very careful when you are giving an information under this class. So verify the stock, book dates, statements and other periodical operational data and financial statements, etc. are being received regularly and duly scrutinized. So it is not enough that the bank has obtained the stock statements and book date statements on the end of the month. It is also duty of the branches. They should be duly scrutinized. So they cannot just blindly accept the stock statements given by the customer. It should be duly scrutinized. Why that scrutiny is required? So when the scrutiny, when the branch people do that scrutiny of the stock statements, then only they will come to know whether there is an absolute stock is there, or whether the stock is not moving, or it is over inventory is there, or sundry debtors are more than 6 months, and how healthy of the debtors, all those things. If there is not healthy things, or the stocks are having only obsolete, and they are not having the resellable and still showing in the stock statement, definitely these things should not be considered for the calculation of drawing powers. Once they, you should not see bank as a customer, he might have included everything and calculated himself the DP. So the banker, after receiving that, he will see only last figure, oh, which is within the DP. So not to worry, not like that. He has to verify the contents of the bank statement and booklets, and verify, scrutinize, and see that whatever the information given in these statements are correct. Otherwise, if they don't do that scrutiny properly, when as an auditor, when we go, so when we should also see whether that scrutiny has been done or not. If they have not done it, then we have to mention. And in such a cases, once you are mentioning that this scrutiny has not been done properly, you have to specify in which cases that scrutiny has not been done. If you, once you see that list where this scrutiny has not been done properly, then we have to see what is the position of that drawing power in such cases. If the drawing power comes less than the sanctioned limit, or this one, then automatically account become an NP, account become irregular, and that DP is less than the sanctioned limit for more than 3 months. In case of a CC and this one, automatically that accounts become an NPA. So this is the one aspect where we have to be very careful. It is not just taking and collecting and keeping the booklets as a formality and as a paper by the banker. Examining the system of obtaining the reports from the stock audits. So in case of a stock 5 crores and above, where the bank has to get the stock audits from the external people. So whether those stock audits has been received in time or not, any qualification given by the stock auditors have to be looked into. So whether if he has mentioned that there is an absolute stock not available for resale, and then normally this bank also should have been reduced those from the drawing power calculations. So we should insist for these stock audit reports. Obtain from the branch list of non-corporate entities with the limits beyond 10 lakhs. As a part of LFAR, we have to give this list where the bank has not obtained the corporate entities, borrowers with more than 10 lakhs. And periodical physical verification of securities. As a bank, there are different guidelines relating to this verification of securities by field officer once in a month, or by the branch manager once in 3 months, like from regional office once in a year. Like that, each bank will have a periodicity of the physical verification of securities pledged to the bank or hypothecated to the bank. So those physical verifications have been done it or not, we have to see. Under this case, we should ask for the inspection reports from the respective people who have visited and what are their observations. Here one, in my experience, I would like to share one incident. We were auditing the one of the branches. There we have come to know that there was one field officer who was going regularly to the to the customer for the verification. They were showing so many number of boxes. So this field officer, every time he goes, he will see, okay, 10 into 10, 100 boxes. So 100 boxes into multiplied by what is the stock inside, what is the value, like that. There was a change in the field officer. There is a new field officer came. So that field officer went for the inspection. Being first time, then he told, I want to open, please open and show me the boxes. No, initially they were reluctant. They are told workers are not available, very difficult. Like that. No, this field officer smelled something and asked, no, we should verify this. Please show me. When, to his shock, all the boxes were empty. So, because the previous field officer, because not he has done proper verification, so there was a people were misusing his lenience. So like this, these things may happen. So that's why this physical verification reports by the field officer are very much important. We should see that physical inspection reports from the officers concerned. Report the cases of advances where deficiencies observed with regard to value of security, frequent overdrawings, unauthorized overdrawings, or inadequate insurance cover, etc. Comment on the credit card dues recovery in the branch. So this is once again very important aspect we have to see, because credit card dues, there may be cases where their overdues are there. So as per the IROC norms, if there are overdues, minimum amount not remitted within that 90 days, then that account becomes an NPA. So whether that IROC norms have been followed or not, to see that, we have to look into this credit card dues recovered. And then report the cases where there is a, wherever you find IROC norms have been followed, and where report cases where there is a disagreement with the branch in MOC. Point out the cases where the legal action has been approved by the head office but not initiated by the branch. So there may be some cases where head office tell you please proceed with the suit filing and all those things. If there is a delay from the bank side with regard to those cases, so then we have to obtain a list and give the report. Obtain a list of rehabilitation cases given and present status of such cases. Comment on the cases of DICGC and ECGC are required to be lodged but still not lodged. This is one point where some of the loans have been guaranteed by DICGC and ECGC. So if any portion, when recovered to be made, wherever this guaranteed portion from the ECGC and DCG, they have to promptly claim those things within without any delay. If there is any delay, then we have to report under this LFAR clause. Valuation report from the approved valuers for securities charged to bank once in 3 years or the shorter duration as prescribed to the bank. So other than normal stock and debtors, there will be securities like collateral given to the bank. All those collaterals once in 3 years, it has to be valued by valuers, and whether the value is is covering the loan outstanding or not, we have to look into. So whether those valuation reports obtained or not, we have to see. And if they are not obtained, we have to give that list in the under this clause. Study the policy prescribed for compromise, settlement, and write-off cases. Give the details of cases where write-off waiver in excess of the 50 lakhs are to be furnished. So under this category, there may be nowadays, we are coming with a lot of things like OTS scheme and all those things. Wherever there is a compromise and settlement there, so we have to see all the 50 lakhs and of cases, take a list and report under this category. In other cases also, we have to see that whether the proper prescribed guidelines and policy of the bank has been followed or not. Obtain a list of the bank guarantees invoked, paid but not adjusted, invoked but not paid. Here, once the bank guarantee is given and it is invoked. Invoked means the other party has invoked on the bank for the guarantee given by the bank on behalf of the customer. In such a case, the bank cannot stop from making the payment to the third party. So it has to honor on the due date, because it is bank guaranteed by the branch. Only that money we have to recover from the borrower. So that is the reason. So these invoked cases should have been adjusted to the balances of the customer. So if they have not done it, then it will, if it is showing separately as a invoked, recoverable, all those things, then we have to look into very carefully, and we have to see those things, because if that is debited to party's account, that account may become an NPA. That is the reason when the cases are there invoked. So we have to be very careful, and this list of such invoked guarantees we have to mention in the report. When you are mentioning the report, we should also look into what happens to the IROC status of the particular borrower when this amount is debited to particular borrower account. Details to be obtained and furnished regarding LCs and co-acceptances funded by the branch and report the same. And nowadays LCs and co-acceptances given, we have to see, take the list of the LCs given, because LCs and guarantees are non-fund based, so it will not become a part of the advances. So it will be like a contingent liability, so it will be shown as a separate line item, which is not a part of the LC advances. Hence, whatever the LCs are there, we have to obtain the list of the LCs and give and co-absences funded by the branch and report the same. So after this advances is over, so the other area one comes under this our balance sheet item is stationery and stamps. So stationery here means not this regular stationery like letterheads or covers, envelopes and all those things. Here in the case of stationery means the pay orders, checkbooks, term deposit receipts, traveler checks, gift checks, etc. So this is like a, these are all the like a, once banker has given a pay order, it the other bank will honor based on the pay order. So that pay order, they will will not once again refer to this bank and ask whether it is issued or not. So once they see pay order, so they will just like that they will honor by the bank on whom it has been generated. So that is the reason regarding this deposit receipts, pay orders, checkbooks, travelers checks, gift checks, etc., we have to be very carefully internal controls procedures are there proper or not. Because one, for example, one pay order booklet, if it is missing from the bank, and if there is no proper control on the physical condition, or if they have no proper procedure of the while issuing on this one, so there are the chances these weaknesses can be misused by the bank staff or maybe the third party. So that is the reason the bank has to follow the internal control systems very carefully. So if there are no adequate controls, how we can verify whether this adequate control are there or not? We can see what is the procedure they are obtaining from the receiving from the corporate office these items, and what is the stock register they are maintaining. Whenever it is issued to the counter for issuing to third party, whether that has been mentioned, the officers who is concerned have been signed and taken it, and what is the physical verification of these books frequently by the branch people we have to verify. Even after this a booklet has been issued to a counter officer, what is whether he is maintaining any separate this one, and we have to verify. And whatever the unused pending pay orders as on the date of branch visit by us, we can ask for the counter clerk to show to us. So like this we can verify, we can do some internal control checks whether bank is adhering to or not. And have you come across cases of missing and lost item? When we do this internal control verification, we'll also come to know whether there are any missing and lost items, whether that has been reported by the corporate office, if it has been detected earlier by the branch, or if it is because if it is obtained because of our verification, then immediately we should also put into the our report. And if any fraud has become in this, our duty becomes different. Immediately, even we have to refer to the Reserve Bank also, depending on the size of the fraud. I will come up to that afterwards once again when I come to other matters. Other assets, again, we will have the suspense account and sundry assets. These two figures normally we see in the branch balance sheet. So the suspense accounts where, for example, any bank has issued some this one where they could not identify the to which account they have to debit that balance, so they may put it under the suspense. So we have to see this suspense account, what are the entries pending. So that entries, if it is pending for more than 6 months, as an auditor, we have to ask them to make a provision for those things. So that is why you should be very careful when you are viewing the suspense account. You should see that there should not be any entry more than 6 months. If it is there, you should insist for the provision for the same. So even if it is less than 6 months, you should ask what are the items pending, why there is a pending. If you come to know that those, if you are not comfortable with the explanations given by the branch, then you can report under this LFAR under this class. Also like sundry assets. So the sundry assets normally comprises of traveling advance given to the staff when they are going outside, or money given for LTC, or some advance given to for the building. Those things will appear in the sundry assets. When we for viewing these sundry assets, we have to see, for example, travel advance given to a employee more than 3 months, and he has already completed his tour and he has come back, but still this is showing under this one. So as an auditor, what is our duty? Because if he has completed his travel and he has not settled means, so this will become, this has to hit to profit and loss account, not remain as an item in the balance sheet. So we should see those entries pending in the sundry assets, and we should insist that those items should be charged to profit and loss account, not remain in this class. In such a case, if you still feel that it should have gone to charges account only, then you should issue an MOC on in that regard. And also regarding this sundry assets, we come across the advances given for the buildings, advances given to the telephone, deposits with the telephone, all those things. We have to see whether the confirmations are there for those things. Building advance, for example, sometimes the custom, some premises might have been shifted after so many, nowadays after this merger by, for example, like State Bank, when SBH branch, they have, these people have vacated and merged with some other bank to the State Bank of India building itself. So that building, that premises has been vacated, and that branch still they will be showing as a, because one case what we have come across, that State Bank of Hyderabad, or in fact they have already settled with them by this one, and probably by mistake they have not passed the entries, adjusting entries. When we have gone for the State Bank of India audit last year, I came to know that this has been already settled with that landlord by the SBH itself, but still it is showing under this one. Subsequently, we came to know that where that wrong entry has gone by the SBH, and I asked them to pass the correction entries through MOCs. So these are all the cases which we may come across. So even though this appears to be very small part of the our balance sheet, still our duty is more in this type of things. We have to be carefully come across, carefully handle each and every item of these two accounts. And then comes to liabilities. So the major liability of a banker is the deposits. So the banker, as a banker, takes money from the public, gives to the public, and manages the funds with margin on the lending and advances, deposits rates. So that is what actually the banker will do. So hence the major liability for a banker is the deposits. In case of a deposits, what are the types of deposits a branch can take monies from the customers. So for all those things, head office will give instructions for what is the what types of advances, deposits we can take, what is the maturity period, what this one, all those things will be head office will give instructions. So we have to see that whether head office instructions have been followed. So when we go to the branch, there will be huge number of deposits they might have collected. It may not be possible for us to verify each and everything. As a sample check, you can verify. But one thing, as an auditor, whenever you select a sample, it should be determined sample we should take, whether it is regarding to the deposits or regarding to the borrower accounts, whatever it may be. Please kindly see that your sample selection should be very clear, and your sample selection should be documented actually. So then tomorrow something happens in the accounts which you have not verified. If your sample selection is uh, clear, then we can always defend our case. Otherwise, we will be put into a lot of troubles. So sample selection, when we study, we took it as a very simple. When we come into the practice, this has got a lot of implication. So wherever you do, whatever you select, it should be your sample selection should be very clear. And any unusual large movement in the aggregate of deposits when bank balance sheet date and date of audit are observed, seek clarification from the branch. If replies are not satisfactory, report to the same. So for example, on the balance sheet date, to boost up the figures both sides, so they issue OD on 1 crore, and they will request the borrower, please put this under the deposit for some time. After next month, you please take, like that. The branch manager may take some favors from the customers and do that. So this we can verify. How we can verify this? Please check what is the advance this deposits figure before 1 week of the balance sheet date. After balance sheet date till the date of our this one, we can ask for the daily deposits balances. So if you find huge variations, we can come to a conclusion that this type of unusual adjustments are there. So we can little go in deep. If you feel there is an unusual large movement, then we should report those things in our LFAR. Collect the list of overdue and matured term deposits as on balance sheet date. Check up any interest provided by the branch on such deposits. Other liabilities, what we see normally, bills payable and sundry deposits. Bills payable, there will be a lot of bill discounting being done by the, that bills discount will come under the asset side. So this bills payable under the liability side, which are we have accepted against this one, and which we have to pay to the third parties. So which maybe so those things you should ask for the list of the bills payable and see that those things have been properly dealt or not. And the same case with the sundry deposits also. Obtain a list of old outstanding items under the bills payable account, sundry deposits account, etc. Verify the same and report item pending for 3 years and above. Report items of any unusual items in the bills payable, sundry deposits, or other similar accounts indicating nature and amount involved. And then comes to contingent liabilities. As I have already told, this like letters of credit, bank guarantees, also part of a contingent liabilities. But that we have already talked and they have asked for what is to be done. But these are items in other than the LCs and bank guarantees. Normally, what comes, these are all the liabilities not acknowledged by the branch. Normally, what this comes as a, this one is claims by the third parties, maybe any claim on the banker, maybe by the borrower, maybe by the third party, maybe any victim for any of the branch action. So they might have lost and they might have made claim on the branch or bank. So those claims we have to see whether if it is required to be provided, if it becomes a crystallized liability, they have to make. If it is not a crystallized liability, then we have to put under this contingent liabilities. Each bank is having a legal cell at the corporate office, which will be dealt directly all these legal cases by the legal department. So we should obtain a list from the that legal department. What are the items relating to this particular branch which we are auditing? We can view case by case and see the status of each case and whether it is a, for example, a suit filed in the court might have been judgment have been passed and they might have asked the banker to pay compensation to the third party, maybe certain amount, which might have verdict might have come on the maybe in the last March month. So it might have not come to the branch notice itself. So if we see the status of the each case, in such a case, we come to know those cases. So if it is the branch has not provided, we should insist for the crystallized liability. Or if it is under the still in the shoot filed case or anything, they should have shown under this contingent liabilities. And then comes to profit and loss account. Mainly this profit and loss account, we see one side the incomes, other side the expenditure. So in income side, majorly our major part of the income is from the interest on the loans sanctioned or loans given, loans and advances given by the bank. So we, what is as a auditor, what is our duty? Whether the bank is regularly collecting this interest from the borrowers, and whether now because of this core banking and then everywhere it is system driven, and on a particular date, depending on the nature of the advance and nature of the loan, it will be debited and credited to the income account. There may be some cases where like SB accounts, once in 6 months they do. This is not done especially on the 31st March of every this one. They will have a different dates on which this will be debited. In such a case, if for example last previously, if that interest debited to SBI, interest credited to SBI accounts is done on 28th February. So for the month of March, the banker should provide for that 1 month interest outstanding payable on the SB accounts. Like that, if there are any items which interest is not debited or credited on 31st March, we have to see that fraction period whether adjusting entry has been passed or not. And the other side is we will also have the depreciation, we will also have the rent paid, and then salaries, and then printing and stationery, and lot of overheads will be there. So like what we do in case of other customer accounts, what we do for our clients, scrutiny of the item by item, we have to see whether all the outstanding liabilities regarding these expenses has been provided or not. All incomes, accrual incomes has been taken into this credit side or not. Mainly nowadays, this cross selling transactions are there. One bank will do cross selling, means SBI mutual fund. They will be doing some business for the our branch. Our branch might have given some business to those. So in such a case, this SBI mutual fund has to share this branch share. So if it has been done, so that is called cross selling. So if that income is to be accrued for this branch, we have to see that whether that income has been accounted in our by this branch or not. Like there may be some cases where we may have to pay to the other parties. Those things have been done or not. Especially this depreciation is concerned. So normally all this now premises section or estate, it may be called is dealt by the centralized office, like maybe in the RO offices or sometimes it may be centralized offices. So then rental agreement and all may be executed by them. But a copy of rental agreement may be available at the branch. We should see whether that rent is debited is as per the rental agreement or not, and whether those rental agreements have been renewed or not, and then depreciation on the fixed assets. Even though depreciation is centralized and entry may be passed at the central office relating to these additions to fixed assets available at the branches itself. We should see what are the additions in the fixed assets. Those things can be verified by us at the branch level itself. Only depreciation entries, if it is run at the corporate office, we can test check whether that depreciation has been done. In few cases, the rates applied and also depreciation charged is correctly or not on a test basis. So this is how about the income, profit and loss account. As an auditor, test check the interest and discount credited in the account, verify the action plans taken by the branch for the income, and then report by the concurrent auditors, and then commit the compliance, IROC norms, especially interest reversal in case of a NPA. When a first time account becomes an NPA, we have to reverse unrealized the interest as on that date, including the charges. Whether that has been done or not, we have to see. Verify branch estimates and provided the interest on the overdue and mature term deposits. Compare gross interest paid in previous year with the current year. Any abnormal increase in the figures should be correlate with the increase in aggregate deposits of the branch. This here, what we can do, we can see all 52 weeks advances figure and for 52 weeks deposit figure, calculate on proportionate income method or whatever, what is the total interest is coming. So your calculation should be match near to the branch figures debited or credited. If it is too much variation, you can go for further inside and see that whether any lacuna in the system, what is being done. So we can test check those items, and also sometimes the bank will have in between changes in the rates of interest and those things, whether in case there is a change in the rate of interest in between, whether those things have been properly taken. Even though it is a core banking system, it is centralized, still we can do the test checks and we can ask for the in between change of interest rate circular. We can verify those rates have been affected in the accounts or not. Especially we have to be very careful in case of a new NPS identified by the bank or by the branch auditor, whether reversal of this interest has been done. Not only interest reversal, all the unrealized charges debited to accounts also to be reversed. So this is one aspect which we have to be carefully. And regarding the all other heads in the profit and loss account debit side, we have to look into, we can have a general scrutiny, those things. So we can this one or any penalty, because earlier days even tax audit was also was with us. We used to verify whether the TDS has been done or not. Nowadays many banks made this tax audit report centralized, and if they come to know that there are some things not properly followed by this branch where we are the auditors and which we have not pointed out, then that central auditors who is doing at the whole bank level may point out. So then we may be asked question, why you have not reported these items. So that is the reason we have to be very careful, even not only verification and scrutiny, we have also see that any deviations in the statutes and compliances regarding those things. Even though you are not a tax auditor, you come across any deviations in compliances also, we have to bring. So only the format where we can bring all those things is our long form audit report. It is a weapon given to us to write all the weaknesses in the branches, which has no impact on the profitability of the this one. That is the reason wherever you pass an MOC, it will have an impact on the branch profit figure. That is why we will be referring those MOCs in our branch main audit report. So before I conclude, there are again general items like books and records. So there are books and records. What are the whether the books of accounts maintained manually or this one. Now most of these questions under these books and records are relating to manual system when it was existing. Now after being computerized, taking the hard copies print, and then reconciliation of the subsidiary accounts with general ledger, all those things have been faded out. Now those things not there, but still we have to give our replies stating that since the branch is fully computerized, the reconciliation does not required. Like that, you have to give some answer. And contingent and disaster recovery plans are in place for the loss or encryption of data. Here we have to see whether any information system audit has been done. If he has pointed out any weaknesses in this report, we have to mention these things. And do we have suggestions for improvement in the system and with regard to computerization operations of the branch? If you have any suggestions, we have to mention here. And reconciliation and control ledgers and inter-branch transactions. So invariably in each branch balance sheet, you will have this figure inter-branch balance, IIBT or something it is called, different depending on the different banks terminology. So what is this actually is? This is an unreconciled figure on the 31st March lying. So where this branch might have been originated some transactions which has not been responded by the third party, or some branch might have been originated on this branch. This bank has not responded to those transactions. So like this, now anything that is coming, you can ask for the items pending under that inter-branch transaction. If you find any old, very large and also old outstanding entries as a debits at the year end, which unremained, unexplained in the accounts related to inter-branch adjustments, then we have to report all those things in the our report under this head. Audits, inspections, and frauds. Is the bank covered? See, nowadays the banks covers under the different types of audits, mainly previous year statutory audit and RBI audit, central office audit, concurrent audit, internal audit, revenue audit, like that, and systems audit and stock audit. Like that, there are different types of audits. So we can obtain the list of the audits carried on in the branch by the either by the internal staff or internal CO inspections, or from the external concurrent auditors, external stock auditors, external IS auditors. So please ask for the list of the audits that has been covered, and please, as a part of statutory auditor, it is our duty to look into all those audit reports, whatever the observations, qualifications reported in that branch audit reports by the concerned auditors, whether those have been those observations have been complied by from the branch or not. If not complied, still pending, then we may have to report in our report. Mainly this, whenever in case of big branches, conducting this CO audit is a normal practice. So when we go to that one, mainly you please take the CO inspection report. That will be a very big base document for us to comment on the advances account, because the time spent by them is more. At least CO team will be spending not less than 21 days to 30 days of 3 to 4 people. So whereas we will be spending hardly 5 to 6 days in the branch, depending on our team strength. So we cannot devote and we cannot bring out so many observations what has been brought in by the CO audits. So we should look into that CO audits. What are the observations? They speak out in that CO audit report each and every account in detail. What is the credit rating by the external people, credit rating by the branches, what are the divergences, what are the upgradations and downgradations, what is the weaknesses, all those things might have been dealt in the account wise. That will be a very big basic document for us. Please insist for those things and see that when you are commenting on the advances, you get a lot of inputs from those CIVO inspection reports. And frauds. Furnish particulars of frauds discovered during the year under audit at the branch. Together your suggestions, if any, to minimize the possibilities of their occurrence. So in case if fraud has been reported, so whether that fraud has been reported as this branch to the higher authorities, to the concerned level people, and those things you can also bring so and so fraud reported, and so by the branch so and so date. If you come across any frauds out of your audit, then procedure is totally different depending on the size. Even you may have to report to the central government depending on the severity of the fraud. And also we have to look into, there are after balance sheet items, we have to see that whether there are any window dressings as we have already discussed how they do window dressing in deposits as well as the liability side. So whether those things have been there or not, we have to look into. If it is there, then we have to report under this clause. Does the branch maintain records of all the fixed assets acquired, held, irrespective whether the values thereof or depreciation there has been centralized? I already discussed this. Any other matters which as a branch auditor would like to bring to the notice of the management or the central statutory auditors? This is the one area where you have left to write whatever the advices. These advices may be relating to internal controls or guidelines or maybe systems or anything. You can give this. Bank management is very much interested the branch advisors in this regard, because they also want to correct their mistakes. In my individual experience itself, whatever I have given under this class relating to one such case when it comes to capital adequacy norms. So when first time when we went, there was not coming the bucket totals, it was coming the individual figures, and there was no total is coming. So when you prepare this capital adequacy return, so we were not able to compare that figure, total figure, with advances total figure. Then I wrote in this there is no bucket totals mentioned in this. When I went for the next audit in the quarterly review, it was coming, because they have told this suggestion, this correction we have taken because of this branch audit report suggestion. So like that, whatever these shortcomings or whatever you have found difficulties in reporting in during the audit, those things you can bring in a lighter way. Don't write difficulties you have faced during the travel or those things, but whatever the real difficulties what we have faced during the audit, whatever our suggestions regarding this improvement of the efficiency and internal control systems of the this one, we can give suggestions in this report. And in addition to our regular LFAR, whatever we have discussed so far, in case of a bigger branches, so there is a, in addition to this long form audit report, there is a specific special report we have to attach. In case of a branches dealing in foreign exchange transactions, there is a separate one more format which we have to mention in addition to this regular. Branches dealing in very large advances. Branches dealing in recovery of NPA and asset recovery management. Balance branches dealing in clearing house operations, normally referred as a service branches. If you are being allotted any of the branches having this type of this category of the branches, then you have to give a separate reports. So depending on the size of this branches, large advances, you have to give on the large advances each and account wise your there is a separate pro forma on what we have to give attached to LFAR. So, but actually those information will be filled by the branches itself. We have to see that whatever the information filled to that under that annexures is correct or not. And at the end of the report, there will be a branch comments. Under below that, there will be a branch auditor's comments also. So like that, whatever in the LFAR, if you had given this comment, you should also mention those comments under that annexer also. And mentioning in that annexer and not mentioning those weaknesses in the LFAR is a totally difficult this one. And regarding this, whoever is doing this SBI, State Bank of India, they have got a very good system of coding for this deficiencies of the LFAR, like stock statements not obtained. So you can mention what are the branches. So there is a code for that. So coding system is there. So if you keep on filling that under that codes, so which account that stock statement not received, under that code you can mention. Simultaneously, when you find the observation, you can also start filling that coding code wise. So your LFR filling also will be over along with your this one. Please kindly make it this LFR. You please start doing from the beginning itself. Don't keep this as a last item or this one. At the end of this item, whenever you come across these observations, when you are scrutinizing the advances, you please kindly make a note. So when you are framing your replies for this LFR, definitely you can under that clause you can enter those things. Otherwise, after doing all that exercise, scrutiny, verification, and all those things, if you don't make out that points, then giving replies to this LFR will be a nightmare. So then totally you will be confused and you will not be knowing where you stand. And as my concluding remarks on this LFR, so what normally people will do when you go for the LFR, we will ask, do you have the last year's soft copy? So the branch people very graciously, they give that copy to us. And what we do, see that last year's whatever this one, just copy that to this one and just change the year and then do that. But don't do that. If you want to still use the soft copy, first you delete all the replies given by the previous branch auditor. Then start filling this one. Or don't use this Control C, Control V operation just like that to fill this one. Give the speaking replies rather than the keeping the blank. So if there is nothing observed in that one, but don't keep it blank. You write whether no comments or nil comments are not applicable or like that. But don't keep anything blank. If you keep it blank, the central statutory auditors, when you are this one, you will not be clear whether there is information is available, but branch auditor has not filled. Like that, he will be under a suspicion. And again, he will ask the branch people. Then branch people may again contact you, sir, do you want to write something and not written like this. Sometimes if a strict central auditor are there, then he may send back that LFR to the branch and ask for the replies to those questions which has not been filled. So let us not face that problem. Please, if nothing is to be written, you just say no nil comments, otherwise nil are not applicable. Like that, you please write. Don't keep anything blank. be resourceful in generating the reports rather than depending on the bank staff. So best when you go to the branch audit, just to see that what is the software they are using, whatever that you can generate, you ask him, you just show me how to generate the reports. You just spend half an hour and with anybody, whoever is there, if they teach you how to generate, you can generate whatever reports you want. And every time, depending on the branch staff for the report, and they will tell, okay, I will give it in the evening, or on sir, tomorrow morning I will give, like that. They keep on maybe deliberate or may not be deliberate, or maybe because of their busy in their work, regular routine work, but your audit will be delayed. That is the reason, be resourceful in generating the reports from the softwares, because we all this core banking and all has come very long back, so we are already tuned to this system. Now it is our duty is to enhance our efficiencies under this system. So that is why you please try to generate by yourself. Instruct assistants to keep all their papers intact. Let them not waste your time in searching for the reports. So whatever the information you collect, you please keep it in the files uh, in a orderly manner, and also you can have the tag system, or you can have the flap system, or this coloring stickers like that, and see that, and write on that, okay, bank confirmation, SBI confirmation, or third party confirmation, stock audits not received. When you want to prepare your report, by seeing that paper, you can just fill up the information. Otherwise, you will go up and down in your file, and sometimes you will feel, no, I have already collected this information, somewhere it is missing, like that, and all will be facing when you really start filling this LFAR. Please don't foresee that situation. Please kindly, whenever you collect, keep it in a file, punch it and keep it, and see that your assistants should not take away that file with him, and when you want to finalize, he is not available. All those things, please kindly avoid this one. And divide the work based on audit team strength. So if you are 3 people, if you are going, or 4 people are going, 5 people are going, in the first day itself, you please divide your work, who has to do what. There should not be repetition of the work, and also depending on the team strength. You say first year articles, give him the what he can do. As a partner, what he can do. As a senior third year article clerk, or somebody who is having a senior assistant, what he can do. Like that, depending on the team strength. In the beginning itself, you divide, because all the information, when you go to the bank, it is already available. It is only you have to collect it. So there is no necessity to wait any information to be bring it from somewhere and give it to you. So all the information is available. Even if you 4 people are there, even 4 people in the bank also, there will be delegation of works to different staff. So you can attack to the person who is concerned what is required for you, and collect that information. So don't focus on only one person who, even though he is a coordinator, he is a coordinator to us only to coordinate with the correct person. He is not a person to give the information. He should only to coordinate the person who is concerned with our audit. So you should use the coordinator only to that extent. If you ask anything and everything to that coordinator, he will take the information from you. He will pass on that information to the third party, and that fellow will take some more time to give back to that information. It is only killing the time. So you ask the coordinator, please attach me to the concerned person relating to that. We will take the information. So that will solve, and also there will not be any communication gaps, and avoid duplication of work, as I told you, and keep a phone a friend option as a last resort. So when some issue comes to you, the first and foremost thing, your solution master is our guidance note from the institute. You can refer it, and then by master circular 1/7/2015. It's a Bible for us as on date. So you can refer to the master circular and subsequent directions issued by the Reserve Bank of India. Still, you are not able to convince. You can approach the central statutory auditors. Even still, you can talk to your any one of the person whom you feel so over the phone, because your friend may also be busy in bank audit, or he might not have faced this problem as you are facing, and he may not be able to give you the correct solution for your situation. So our guidance note and then our master circulars and RBI master circular is the more than enough to come to a conclusion. Still, if you are not enough, then you can put in a report, I am not able to come to a conclusion because of the non-availability of the information, non-availability of the not information provided by the branch or something like that. Whatever situations are you are facing, you can write. So thank you very much. This is all about my presentation on the long form audit report. Once again, I will tell to audience here. So don't take this LFAR as a substitute for your main audit report. Main audit report is the report which is giving under the Banking Regulation Act. This is what you are giving. LFAR is by the RBI requirement. So and then so and also if anything which you feel as a qualification, the banker may plead you, please instead of putting in the main report, you please put it in the LFR. However, you are bringing to the knowledge of the central auditors. But as I told you in my beginning speech itself, this LFR is finalized after the main audit reports are finalized. So this sometimes this even central auditors may come to know about these issues after finalizing of the main report. If they find that there is a binding of your findings on the main report, then everybody will be in big trouble. So kindly don't write whatever have a impact on the classification of the IRAC norms, and also qualifications required to be on the main audit report. This is one thing, this one. And for example, if you write something in the main audit report, you can elaborate those issues and write in the LFR, but not write, don't forget to write in the main audit report and write only in the LFR. So LFR is not a substitute for the main audit report. So this is my submission and then my presentation regarding my long form audit report. Now, if you have any questions, I am happy to take it. Yes, sir. Mr. Sampat Kumar, there is a question in COVID situation. It may be impossible to verify physical cash. In such a situation, what is to be done? So physical cash verification in case of a branch audits earlier also, we were not doing on 31st March because as on that date, many times we might have not received our letter of appointment, and we also may not be knowing which branch is being allotted to you. So earlier also what we were doing, when we go for the date of the physical audit, we take the figure and work back what are the plus and minuses and come back to the 31st March figure and we certify like that. I think the same way we should also go under these circumstances, unless if it is required by you, this still so far that situation has not come where the bank has decided to go audit online so far. So if that situation comes, we may have to wait for their issue guidances from our institute, and we have to take a call on it. Yes, please. Shrivata Ballakuraya. Lean on FDR marked in a CBS system, but not taken in physical FDR. Whether to report the same. So now after this CBS system, once they have done marked on the lien, the main purpose of this lien marking is it should not be discharged the FD on maturity. So that lien should come to the knowledge of the person who is discharging this fixed deposit on maturity. Because here what is happening, even though it is not mentioned on the physical FDR, so it is mentioned in the CBS. So that makes that prompts the person who is discharging the FD on due date. I think this compliance from the banker side is okay for me. Yes, sir. Is it okay for you? Yes, sir. Sampath Kumar again. Because of the lockdown effects, March end book dates, stock statements would not have been received even up to May. What is the stand on the to be taken? So that is the reason now, as on 31st March, because the bank have been not received. For our IRAC norms and all, and also the COVID on March 27th, our finance minister Sitaraman has given the lot of reliefs like moratorium in interest and EMI, this one. So what our institute and also what is the experts' opinion is for IRAC, this one, March we should leave. So whatever this NPA classification, we should see that as on 31st, actually 28th February, compliance is there or not. So then you have to go back 3 months from the February 28th. That is what even for our institute experts have already come out with that suggestion. Even I have to do that. Yes, sir. Again, Srivastava, Ballakuria. Accounts overdue for renewal. Manager extended the time limit for renewal by branch power for another 3 to 6 months. Whether same to be reported. So even first of all, either they should take up for the renew. Nowadays there is a concept called short review. At least they cannot just like that postpone. They should can take the short review. But short review also should be regularized within the 6 months from the date of renewal. So a short review cannot be more than 6 months. So if they have done the short review, so branch manager can only do the short review. He cannot just like that extend the date for on his own. So if a short review has been done, so within 6 months, that regular renewal should have been done. If they have not done it, then we have to report in our report. Again, Sampath Kuppuswamy, how many reviews can be made after the account become overdue? As I told you, it's only review can be or short review can be for 6 months. So immediately they should go for renewal of the account. Maximum, I think, 3 months if it is there, 2 reviews so they can do short reviews. For credit card use in COVID-19 situation, whether moratorium is automatic or to be specifically required by credit card holder to extend the benefit. Here, nowadays, what I am looking, some banks they are sending the mails and taking the confirmation whether do you want to utilize the moratorium or not. Some banks they are not doing anything. And in such a case, I think moratorium is automatic. And if the bank is following only after confirmation from the customer, will be moratorium is this one, depending on the internal policy, what is bank has been doing. So that we have to see into that. Again, Srivasa, whether a debit card and credit card held by the branch comes under the stationery. No, it is not a stationery. It is a debit cards and credit cards issued, and it is only see stock of the debit card, credit cards come under the stationery. Yes, even though yes, it comes under the stationery of the bank. Kindly give examples of contingent liabilities not acknowledged by bank. How can the details be verified? As I told you, this is acknowledged by banks. Not acknowledged by bank means uh, this is third party claims. It is not like LC and this one which bank has given, and it has to be honored on the once it is invoked. It is by the third party on the bank, like any civil suits or maybe compensations which the third party as a victim of the bank's action. They might have filed some cases against the court, against the bank. So that is available from the legal section. So you can collect that list from the legal department relating to this branch. So those things can be reported if they have not already acknowledged as a debt. Again, Sampath Kumar, because of the COVID-19 limitations, concurrent audit bills for March would not have been raised, or bills raised but not paid by the branch, in which case whether P&L MOC may have to be given. See, one thing which we have to see is it is a crystallized liability. Whether in the COVID situation, force majeure case, there may be some cases where we our vendor or he may go out of the contract itself. Then in such a case we cannot do anything. But here he has already extended his services, and there is no any renegotiation has been done by the bank with the concurrent auditor for the reduction in fees or in anything. So if there is no any that communication, or there is any no negotiations with the not only a concurrent auditor, maybe any third party like EMC, AMC vendor and all those things. If there is no any renegotiation, if the contract tells we have to make the payments on annual basis or quarterly basis, if there is no renegotiation and there is no force majeure case, we have to provide for those liabilities. SS Naik, window dressing by transfer from CC OD account, whether to report account wise. So here transfers from CC OD account, we have to see what is the intention behind this. Mainly, if you see, the intention is only to window dressing. You can see, for example, where there was no such transfers in earlier days, only at the balance sheet end date it has been done, and it has been reversed on the first before the date of our balance sheet. Then definitely that comes under the window dressing. We can report. Again, SS Naik, please explain procedure for BGLC. So what is the procedure BGLC means? So bank guarantees and LCs, bank guarantees, it is like a non-fund based given in the sanctioning itself. They will give the what is the limit up to which bank can give a bank guarantee on behalf of the borrower to the third parties. If there will be performing and non-performing, if they fail to do the this one, then immediately banker has to see for performing and non-performing. On due date, if the borrower fails to perform his duties, or he is not able to meet his commitment, then the third party, he may invoke the guarantee and come for the banker to make the payment. Till that stage, it will be shown under the contingent liability. Once he invokes, and if you make the payment to the third party, then it will become a liability recoverable from the borrower. Then some banks, they keep invoked but paid, and there will be some items invoked but not paid. So invoked, paid, definitely they cannot keep it as a separate item on the balance sheet. That should have been debited to respective borrower account. Invoked but not paid, this can be kept under this one. We should see why it is not paid by the banker, or whether they are seeking some information or something, why that liability has not been crystallized. We have to see, look into those items. Then we have to take a call on those things. And LC is also same thing. LC, letter of credit, issued by the banker on behalf of our customer, especially when you are importing the some items. So the other bank it is given. So other bank will pass on the bills given by our maybe post shipment or pre shipment. So once on the LC they have to met their obligation, and they should oblige to pass the bills given under the LC. If they have not done, it is uh, uh, liability on the part of the borrower. Immediately, when the banker makes payment to the other bank, then we have to debit to the party account immediately and recover from the customers. Anything else you want from this, sir?
Chairman, sir.
Ah,
So while giving my welcome speech, there was some internet issue. Sorry for the same. Now I would like to speak for a while. So as I was mentioning, we should adopt change. Change is inevitable because audit in CBS environment is entirely different from what we used to do the audit earlier. Now, day before yesterday, we heard CA Murli Mohan regarding that. Today, CA Ananda Krishna has explained in detail regarding LFAR and what are the expectations of the statutory central auditor from the branch auditors. All those things have been explained in a very, what you can tell, very simple way. So thanks for the same. Before, as I would like to conclude, if we change before the change, we will lead. If we change with the change, we will survive. If we change after the change, we will struggle. If we don't change, even after the change, we will collapse. And regarding our COVID, so it is, we think that it is now, we are coming from red zone to orange zone, green zone, and again the zone is again upgrading and degrading. It is happening. But what we need to do is, there is a small quote which I have prepared. COVID-19 ವ್ಯಾಪಿಸಿದೆ ಖಂಡಾಂತರ, ಅಂತರವಿರಲಿ ಪರಸ್ಪರ ನಿರಂತರ, ಪಾಲಿಸದಿದ್ದರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಗಂಡಾಂತರ, ಹಿಂದೆ ಹೋದೆವು ನಾವು ಮನ್ವಂತರ ಎಂದು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ, ಗೌತಮ್, can you just propose vote of thanks to our today's resource person, C. Anand Krishna, please.
Yes, as Chairman sir rightly said, our resource person for the day, C. Anand Krishna sir, has very elaborately and in a very lucid language covered LFAR in its entirety. Point by point, he has given us a thorough insight and in-depth clarification as to how it needs to be done. On behalf of the branch and all our viewers, I wish to extend our gratitude to the resource person, Anand Krishna sir. We have had a wonderful time and a great 2 hours of learning in terms of bank audit LFAR procedures. We heartily thank you for this.
and relating to my other topic, I have given a PPT presentations. What central audit I already spoken, but again I have put it in that presentation, and also I have downloaded our institute guidance note, this one, and also master circular on 17/2015, which we have to keep it handy when you go for the audit. All those things again I have put it in my material, and also one PPT presentation on the reports and how we have to deal, and what is the when you are giving a report, what is the precautions we have to take, like that. All those things I have mentioned, so people participants can this one. May I know how many participants today?
That will be known in a while, sir, once we close this live chat. And to all our viewers, all those who are in need of the PPT of today's presentation, kindly message us or send a mail to Mangaluru ICAI webinar, and we'll immediately revert. And again, on behalf of the branch, we thank all our viewers and subscribers of this webinar. Stay tuned to us. Tomorrow we'll be having the third part of the bank audit session, and that will be handled by CA Kota Srinivas sir, our past SIRC chairman, as well as someone who is very close to Mangaluru branch, who has been our ex-officio member. So tomorrow the session will be on documentation and IRAC norms, which will be handled, as I said, by Kota Srinivas sir. And the timing is 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. I once again extend our invite to all our viewers and subscribers tomorrow evening at 4 p.m. Until
And
then,
Saturday will be sensational. International speaker is coming to our webinar, Dr. Rajesh Nayak. The topic is management lessons from cricketing history. That is,
Wow.
timing will be Saturday morning 10 to 12. Saturday morning. That is an excellent speaker from Muscat. He will be joining in our webinar, management lessons from cricketing history. Excellent topic. I think he is the Central Bank of Oman College of Banking. They are the sponsors for our ICAI Muscat chapter. He is the director training in banking and financial studies. He will be speaking on this topic. So all members, I request you to be free on that day and listen to that excellent speech by Dr. Rajesh Naik also.
so
So
we have
thank
a
you,
good
management committee, for giving me this opportunity. And we'll see more and more webinars in future. So saving a lot of our time in travel, that, this and all. So more and more knowledge sharing sessions from our institute and from the branches like you. I'm very glad to be a part of your this bank audit seminar. Thank you very much
Thank you
once
for
again to
sharing
management.
your valuable time and knowledge to our members. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. So we have a very interesting weekend in store. Tomorrow we have, as I said, our past SIRC chairman Kota sir, who will be completing the bank audit part of our webinar. And thereafter on Saturday morning 10 a.m. to 12 noon, we have an international speaker, as said by our chairman, Dr. Rajesh Naik, who will be coming up with a very interesting and a general topic, management lessons from cricketing history. So it is something that we all need to look forward for, and I anticipate and hope the same support will continue. And once again, I thank all our viewers of the webinar. And until tomorrow, goodbye. Stay at home. Stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.